Oh my God! Ow!
We're going to the powder barge, but sure enough, there's a damn alligator floating in the river.
After years of facing the dangers of logging on the History Channel, Shelby Stanga's life took a shocking turn, a tragedy he tried desperately to keep hidden. But now the secret is finally coming to light. What exactly was Shelby hiding? How will this revelation shake the lives of the other cast members? Stay with us as we uncover the heartbreaking story of Shelby Stanga from Axemen. How he began. Shelby Stanga. Shelby Stanga started his career at just 16, diving headfirst into the swamps and forests he called home. Logging wasn't just a job for him, it was adventure, challenge, and excitement all rolled into one. People quickly noticed his drive and hired him to haul wood and logs for cash. And Shelby was always ready to work. But if the pay wasn't right, he knew when to walk away. In 2000, he got on television. His first appearance was on Man vs. Wild. Shelby's personality was magnetic. He caught the attention of other producers and got a contract to work with them and showcase his experience. That's how Shelby started his journey on the History Channel. In 2008, he became a tree logger on the famous series Axemen. From then on, he became one of the most watched crew members on the show. Shelby's success on Axemen earned him 3 spin-offs, including The Legend of Shelby the Swamp Man. He loved jungle life and spent his spare time in the wild. He learned survival skills and got inspiration from nature. He knew he would venture into television shows one day, but it happened quicker than expected. When the offer came, Shelby didn't pass up the opportunity. After 10 seasons and 163 episodes, Shelby announced quitting the show. This was breaking news, as fans were unhappy with his exit. They thought it was due to health reasons, but Shelby revealed that the producers didn't keep to the pay they bargained for. He took a long break from the limelight and continued logging duties behind the scenes. The show was different without Shelby, and the producers noticed. When they couldn't cope with the poor ratings, they brought Shelby back in a spin-off. The Return of Shelby the Swamp Man aired in 2018. The Swamp Man's return was a huge surprise to fans. They were thrilled to see him back to navigating crazy wilderness challenges. They enjoyed watching him showcase his wits on matters. He never ceased to amaze his audience, so they never got tired of him. After he returned to the show, there were rumors of his demise. Many couldn't believe Shelby gave in to the woes of the snapping turtle and venomous snake. Some said he passed on from an injury during filming. The speculations caused a big stir and were headlines on major blogs. Genuine fans were worried, as they had witnessed the demise of several Axemen crew members. They had also heard wild rumors about the stars on the show. Shelby, who watched the whole scene unfold, couldn't take it anymore. He had to clear the air and reassure his fans. He revealed he was involved in an accident, but he was alive and well. Fans were angry at the production team for letting rumors spread and always pulling dramatic stunts, but they were grateful that Shelby was in perfect shape. It wasn't just Shelby who was on the show. Several other logging companies around the country were featured on the show. Daily, they showcased stories from the different cast members, but Shelby stood out. One of the show's heartwarming moments was Shelby's lost log. His lost log never reached the mill, and he spent a long time searching for it. On a random day, he found a huge log underwater. When he pulled it out, he discovered it was his lost log. His charisma and resilience for the job made him a fan favorite. His success on television started with his appearance on the History Channel's show Axemen. However, it wasn't just a show for Shelby. On and off the camera, nothing changed about Shelby. His job as a logger stayed the same. He didn't mind the stinks from the ancient logs buried underneath the Bedico swamp in Tangipahoa Parish. He was always ready to do everything he could to get them out. The Tangipahoa River boasts a rich history of resources, including the logs that Shelby seeks. The Tangipahoa creeks underwent extensive milling between the 80s and 90s, losing precious materials. Old trees fell and floated down the creek to the famous Lake Pontchartrain. The number of trees used for home construction in New Orleans could not compare to the logs that sank and lay in the swamp. They were left abandoned for hundreds of years. The trees could be dated back to 3,000 years of existence. Some of the logs absorbed minerals in the mud, changing their appearance. Some of the woods become red, blue, purple, green, yellow, and brown. Their radiant colors caught Shelby's attention. The logger quickly saw them as an attractive product for furniture. He took on a mission to find and sell them to furniture makers.
A special type of log I'm looking for.
In addition to that,
We've got a buyer who's looking for anything that's been in the water for over 50 years.
How much money you think that is?
Have you ever wondered how he can easily dive into the water to locate the woods? He puts on 108 pounds of lead to help with diving weights. I put on steel-toed shoes and a hard hat and then ran along the river bottom. I try to fill the mud with my feet because 99% of the logs are underneath the mud. This is not the whole story. It's just preparation for finding the log. When Shelby finds it, he digs in the soft mud, typically 6 to 8 feet down. While underwater, he might run into a log if his visibility is poor. He also risks losing his respirator if it gets ripped out of his mouth on a branch. After digging, he hooks the log to a crane on a barge and drags it to shore. Victory at last. This was Shelby Stanga's routine before he began reality television. Fans loved the storyteller. Whenever they see him with his camouflage hunting boots and hear the signature shout of "Here we go," they know it's showtime. The show's audience loves his tales of his underwater adventures. They are intrigued by how he found sunken ships and treasure. They love Shelby's tales of his several gunfights, living in the tops of enormous cypress trees and hunting snapping turtles for top celebrities. While some critics of the show think Shelby's stories are unrealistic, the photos of him perched on high trees and holding snapping turtles seem to calm the doubts. He's also got a fancy collection of artifacts, including a Civil War-era coin, as proof that he lives underwater and has had many experiences as a logger.
Teeth, man. Boy, that is a hope I don't catch nothing on my begonias from getting by the water by this son of a bitch. I like pulling these teeth out, man. I might become a dentist.
Axemen series story. In 2008, several logging crews embarked on a reality television journey to showcase the dangers, adventures, and stories behind their work. They ventured into remote forests, camping wherever necessary to get the job done. While the work was hazardous, it was also thrilling, a livelihood wrapped in adventure. Over time, this became the show's trademark, capturing the excitement and risks of logging life. Many viewers never truly understood the title Axemen, but it perfectly reflected the daily challenges loggers faced. The series became part of the trend of shows portraying real men in real danger. It first aired on the History Channel in the United Kingdom, but later, producers altered the title on the terrestrial Channel 5, renaming it Axemen. This confused fans who had grown attached to the original name, but the show eventually returned to history. Each season brought fresh stories and intense competition. Multiple logging companies participated, and fans eagerly followed their favorite crews as they battled nature, machinery, and deadlines to keep their businesses alive. The show highlighted the reality of the logging profession. It wasn't all glamour. Loggers faced harsh weather, difficult terrain, and constant mechanical issues, making each day a test of skill, endurance, and teamwork. The series showcased equipment, techniques, and the teamwork required to fell trees, transport logs, and process timber. Shelby Stanga's company, Swamp Man Logging and Rygard Logging, were among the featured crews. Some specialized in recovering abandoned logs from waterways, while others mastered heli logging, using helicopters to airlift massive fallen trees to access roads. The risk was immense, but the loggers' dedication shone through, proving why Axemen was such a captivating series. Despite the dangers, crews respected environmental laws. They avoided harming trees unnecessarily and tried to protect natural habitats. Jimmy Smith, an advocate for conservation, stressed the importance of preserving yesterday's forests to save tomorrows. He, along with Shelby, balanced entertainment with responsibility, bringing drama, rivalry, and competition to the show. Fans enjoyed the dynamics, knowing that intense competition was part of running top logging companies. Yet, controversy followed. Scandals, arrests, and accusations of illegal practices raised concerns among fans and critics alike. Industry experts argued the show misrepresented logging, portraying loggers as reckless and giving the profession a dangerous reputation. Environmentalists also criticized the series, claiming it celebrated habitat destruction and was heavily scripted. The combination of real-life dangers, disputes, and behind-the-scenes challenges ultimately led to the show's decline. Some cast members tragically lost their lives while filming, sparking further debate about the hazards faced off-camera. Were these rumors exaggerated, or did fatal accidents truly occur? Stay tuned as we uncover the stories of Axemen crew members who paid the ultimate price during the show. Tragic losses. Accidents happened on the show that claimed the lives of some of the loggers and crew members. While the show earned criticism, the demise of these cast members left nothing but pain for their fans, colleagues, and family members. Williams Bart Colantuono's demise was tragic and suspected to be murder. He was born in 1959 and passed away on the 7th of September 2013 at age 54. He brought a new layer as a cast member on the Axemen. He was one of the reasons the viewers never wanted the show to end. The records showed that his demise was caused by a helicopter crash in Lynn County while transporting logs. His demise was confirmed at the scene. It shocked fans who knew him as an experienced Navy pilot who consistently delivered his best. Before his demise, he had several recommendations and received accolades for his exceptional heli logging skills, showcased throughout Axemen seasons. Williams' competitive nature never went unnoticed. He took risks in various circumstances and showed his survival skills. He was a problem solver. Witnesses who experienced the crash said he dropped off the log before crashing into the forest and detached from the copter before the crash. This meant he knew there was a problem before he crashed. It brought speculations, as fans urged the authorities to investigate his demise as a case of possible murder. In the end, the authorities said there was nothing suspicious about his demise and closed the case. Williams worked with R&R Logging and featured on several episodes of Axemen. An episode tagged Axes and Allies was dedicated to his memory. Jimmy Frank Smith was the first cast to pass on. He was born on the 3rd of May, 1956. Jimmy passed on November 1st, 2000 to 2012, at age 55. He battled with cancer for a long time before dying from the same illness. He was the owner of S&S Aqua Logging Company. His exit got a lot of fans teary-eyed as he was one of the highlights of the series. They couldn't get over his sudden demise. The History Channel wrote a heartfelt condolence message to Jimmy's family and friends before his burial and memorial service at Leavenworth, Washington, on November 7, 2012. He featured in Season 5 of The Axemen at Wenatchee, Washington, USA. The Axemen Season 6 opening episode was dedicated to him and his impact on the show. It was no news that his son James Smith was also on the Axemen. The audience watched several episodes in which they worked together and bonded. They had a strong father-son relationship and were a great team. James assisted with underwater logging before his father's demise. While show fans expected him to take over his father's position, his role remained uncertain until the show's conclusion. Jimmy was known as a man who lived as he pleased, rarely worrying about others' opinions. This earned him more enemies than friends, as many thought he was too proud. Although James wasn't one of them, he greatly bothered his father. He had a constant pain in his throat, and the father and son were constantly on each other's backs. Towards the show's cancellation, Jimmy and Smith were seen at an anger management counselor's office to work on themselves. Shelby wasn't the only one with controversies. While there were speculations about Jimmy, Questions and speculations about the show being aired again persist, leaving the logging community with an unknown silence due to mixed reactions about the show. Job hazard. Shelby Stanga is aware of the dangers of being a logger. Shelby often said, "Every load, I drown 3 times." He usually swims in 18 to 20 feet of water, which is nowhere closer to the logs deep in the water. He sometimes encounters wild and swampy animals in the water, resulting in several scars from snake and snapping turtle bites. However, Shelby has also proven himself as an equal opponent to the creatures, as he always retaliates against the offending swamp animals. He has teeth marks on his tongue from several encounters where he had to bite the heads of vicious snakes. He made the show enjoyable and is a fantastic character to look out for if you've never streamed the reality show. Fans who have watched all the episodes still can't get enough of Shelby after several spin-offs and reruns. They confess to laughing hard at the way he acts. The moments he fires the big gun and drives the big water bug are unforgettable. They can tell he's not faking it for ratings or viewers. Shelby Stanga of Axemen entertains fans with educational tips about trees and animals in the swamp. Many fans say he is thrilling and call him the survivalist. They are amazed by how he stepped into many dangerous areas to recover logs.
How much money do you think that'd be?
Probably about 10,000.
Oh, good deal, you rich do that.
In 2014, he was arrested for trespassing. He chopped a cypress tree that belonged to his neighbors, and they weren't so pleased at the excited Shelby. The tree has been state property since 1963, which provoked the neighbors to call the authorities. He spent a day in jail and was released, but was charged with felony theft. Shelby never spoke publicly about the incident, so fans believe he's been relieved of all charges. Shelby Stanga, family. Have you ever wondered about Shelby's wife and family? The television personality found someone who matched his energy and love for wild living. He married Donna Stanga in the early 2000s, and since then they have been inseparable. Fans admire Donna's patience and strength, often praising how she keeps up with Shelby's daring lifestyle. The couple lives a happy, serene life in a comfortable home in Louisiana, near the scenic Lake Pontchartrain. They have 2 children, though they prefer to keep them out of the spotlight. Despite her gentler demeanor, Donna embraces challenges that many would shy away from. She doesn't hesitate to hop on boats, join camping trips, and take part in Shelby's adventurous escapades. Their bond and shared love for the outdoors have made fans fall even more in love with the show. Many viewers admit they could spend hours just watching Shelby, captivated by his magnetic personality and authentic lifestyle. Fellow loggers and fans have reported that Shelby keeps his work honest, never relying on scripted moments for his part of the show. This authenticity is what makes Axemen so engaging, and why fans feel a genuine connection to the Stanga family. Shelby's life on and off the camera, surrounded by family, showcases a rare blend of adventure, love, and dedication that keeps viewers glued to their screens every time Axemen airs. Life after the show. Stanga. Although a famous television star, Shelby isn't accustomed to luxury or fame. Instead of a city mansion and fancy cars, he prefers the simple life, sleeping in a sleeping bag or hammock next to a boat launch on the Tangipahoa River. Despite his net worth, his most valuable item might be his iPhone. Traditional methods of living guide his life, and he finds joy in fishing, hunting, and logging. As Shelby once said, "I'm happy as long as I have bullets and chew my lip." Fans who miss Axemen are always curious about Shelby's life. They wonder if there will be any upcoming collaborations or new adventures on television. While some might see his chosen lifestyle as extreme or risky, others admire it, inspired by his authenticity and down-to-earth nature. People love his humor, his dedication, and his deep connection to the Louisiana Bayou. Over the years, Shelby amassed a net worth of around $2 million, but money was never what drove him. Even long after the cameras stopped rolling, Shelby continues to venture into the swamp, dragging sunken logs from the murky waters. He doesn't do it for fame or a paycheck. He does it because he genuinely loves the work. Logging isn't just a job for him, it's a way of life. When he's not pulling logs, Shelby chats with locals, helps out in his community, or simply enjoys the outdoors. He has never craved the spotlight, but he shares glimpses of his authentic life on social media, connecting with fans who still follow his journey. Whether knee-deep in mud, repairing his boat, or cracking jokes with neighbors, Shelby remains the same swamp man that captivated audiences. Since stepping away from the television limelight, he has chosen a quieter, more meaningful life, focusing on family, work in the swamp, and the woods around him. What are your thoughts on Shelby Stanga and the challenges he faced on Axemen? Do you think we might see him return to reality television someday? Share your opinions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Before you go, check out the other videos on your screen and dive back into the wild adventures of Axemen. Being in a romantic scandal with his new assistant, nothing was proven. Many said it was a stunt to gain attention and ratings. It was also no news that Jimmy was directly competing with Rygard Logging for the title of top logger and contracts. However, other companies had to deal with smaller companies that challenged and contended with them. Paypack, Alaska, and Shelby were a constant competition for Jimmy before his demise. He was always out to prove a point that his logging company was more efficient. Still, they all had something to prove regardless. That's what the show was all about. It was a competitive terrain that kept the fans wanting more. The following horrible incident on the show was the demotion of Gabe Rygard. He passed on in a motor accident just outside his hometown. Gabe crashed into a vehicle from another path in his white Ford Bronco. The passengers were treated at the scene and released. But it was a different story for Gabe, who passed on the spot while wearing a seatbelt at the time of the accident. The crash on the U.S. Port Angeles route on September 16 has engraved images that will never be forgotten. Gabe Rygard's fond memories live fresh in the minds of his family and fans. He was just 45 years old. His demise hit everyone hard, as he was a big part of the Axemen show, and so was Rygard Logging Company. He was the operations manager and handled office work with his brother after they took over the business from their father, Craig Rygard. Although he appeared in only one season, he became part of the family. Every crew member loved him because he was easygoing and a professional at the job. The Axemen show documented his journey in the second season as the new owner of the Rygard logging business. They displayed his struggles and wins. He was a quick thinker and always found a way out of the toughest challenges. When the market wasn't favorable, Rygard always found a way to keep the business running. He never wanted to lay off staff, so he tried to keep the team at their best performance. Rygard's father was interviewed after his demise, and he had so much to say. He described the cold feeling when he heard about the incident and the state of his son. It was a massive loss for the family, as he handled every aspect of the business and ensured it ran smoothly. The same tale of good deeds was shared by his brother, who was deeply affected by the news. His family continued the operations of the Rygard Logging Company, with his brother now heading operations, all in honor of Gabe Rygard. While good deeds were acknowledged, controversies surrounding Gabe and the rest of the Rygard family persisted. Media crews who worked closely with them questioned the conflicts behind the scenes. Was it also part of the logging process, or all for the show? This was the stance of many of their fans who found this strange. While others had seen Craig and Gabe Rygard as extraordinary-headed individuals, they couldn't help but notice the constant conflict that arose during the show. The brothers never agreed on company matters, so his demise raised eyebrows. The speculations didn't exclude their crew members, who were always in conflict and engaged in unhealthy competition. It left fans with another question: do reality shows come with that much drama? Plans left unimplemented by Gabe before his death weighed on both his father and brother, as they struggled to keep the company afloat. It looked like no one could perfectly fit into the shoe. Gabe was the heart of the company. He kept everyone and everything in order. Jason knew little about the business, so every mistake could pull the company backwards. However, the good, committed team members who were invested and loyal to Rygard when Gabe was alive committed themselves to the job. They kept the vision moving and assisted him in operations. He also worked around the clock to bring deals into the company. He had to get them jobs to keep them all employed. Van Huffman's Demise was another personality connected to the show. The Paypack Alaska crew struggled to find the missing body of Van Huffman in the wilderness after he disappeared during one of the logging tasks. He was later found dead. Van was also on the Axemen reality show as a logger and a well-known figure on the History Channel. His disappearance and his body being found on the Suamez Island raised a lot of fear in the logging community, as the scene was also aired on the show. His demise brought more criticism from environmentalists, who already saw the show as portraying the logging company in a bad light and encroaching on the livelihood of different habitats. The incident didn't improve it, as it brought truth to the existing speculations. Sadly, the show not only ended, but also with the demise of many of its cast members, who lost their lives in terrible conditions.